I'm gonna be really honest, I did not know Adam LZ had as many cars as he did, but I found out when we were actually out there late last year, which is really weird to say, when we scanned the LZ compound for Torque Drift 2, which by the way, if you haven't had a chance yet, you can go download that for free on Epic Games Store, and if you had a chance to play it already, you get to keep the track for free, which is pretty insane. The LZ compound is a scanned one-to-one replica of the iconic location, which I think is pretty cool. So if you haven't had a chance yet, go out there, go drive it, go drift it. But as we were doing that, and as I was looking around at some of the cars, I was kind of flabbergasted by the quantity. And then I saw that Adam came out with a video where he ranked most of his cars like a 7 out of 10 for pretty much everything. So I decided I would come out here and I would rank some of the LZ car collection, not all of them, because dear God, we don't have 2 hours. But we're gonna rank the ones that I think I 100% agree with, and maybe 2 or 3 that I don't agree with the score. Because you know what? I don't own them. But like public news, I can say what I want because we in America, which by the way, if you guys haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe. I'm Alex Martini with 200 scores on Instagram. I'm over here on Torque Motorsport, and we're gonna generalize this entire car collection. There are a few cars we're not gonna talk about, but I feel they're worth a notable mention. Number one, the Datsun that he has, I absolutely love. If a Datsun could get a perfect score, all Datsuns get 10s, okay? The second thing, the Clean Pickle Rick, the S chassis that he has, I absolutely love it. I don't really know why. I think it's just the color. Lastly, I will say, when he talked about his 2 FC RX-7 Turbo 2s, I love those cars. I love everything about those cars. I love every concept of what an FC was because it was like the perfect embodiment of the 80s/90s for Mazda. I honestly think, I'm willing to say this on camera, that the FC RX-7 Turbo looks better than the FDRX7. That's just me. You can hate it, you can not like it, what I said, but that's just the truth, okay? So I'm gonna talk about 3 cars that I agree with. The first one was the Porsche 992 GT3 touring car. I'm kind of a Porsche lover, always have been, but to everyone that's actually reviewed this car that's like a car journalist, it's considered the purest expression of a 911 that you can find, because essentially the threshold of swapping out all the track stuff for things that actually get you to and from more comfortably are in this version of a 911. You get tons of color matching, you get a swap out of the Alcantara for the leather, you still get 502 horsepower, you still get 350-ish foot-pounds of torque, and you still get the 9,000 RPM redline. Now, the color does seem a little bit out of place for him, and he said that he didn't like the stickers. He scored the exterior an 8, interior a 9, a sound 10, and a performance 9 out of 10, and for that, we 100% agree with. However, the GT3, the fact that it is the touring version of the 911, the color matching stuff and all the things that kind of make it less of a race car are the whole point of getting this version of the car. A lot of times, if you wanted something more aggressive or if you wanted something with the two-tone, typically, especially with the carbon fiber roof, you're gonna need to get into the GT3 RS, or you need to get into a very up-trimmed version, which, you know, Porsche introduces trims kind of like BMW introduces M variants for non-M cars. Anyway, moving on to the second one, the S15 Comp Car. This is probably my favorite competition car out there. And no, it's not just because it's LZ's, it's because I loved the interior. When I first saw it, I didn't understand how much flake could be on the inside of a car until I saw this car. I thought it was awesome, which, by the way, you can go and you can drive this car on the LZ compound in Torque Drift 2. There's 2 different ways that you can buy it. You can buy it if you just want to hang on to it and play it in the game, and there's a more limited edition option if that's more your thing. Now, it's going to allow you to drive and compete and do all that sort of stuff regardless of which version you buy, and those sort of purchases help support additional development for Torque Drift 2, coming out with new releases, introducing new things for multiplayer, introducing a campaign, introducing more cars, and introducing more car parts. So, if you want to keep supporting it, that would be the best way to do so. I know sometimes it's one of those things where it kind of feels weird to talk about, but truthfully, I think that if you're gonna support us trying to make a real drifting game, this is the way that it has to go. It is free to play, and that's kind of how we're able to pay the people in Australia to keep making dope shit. With that being said, let's get back to the Comp Car. So the S15 Comp Car, the car has so much history, and I'm so glad that it did get ranked as good as it did, because I was a little bit worried when he was talking about the wheel fitment with the blitzes and the tires, sidewall setup, and all that sort of stuff. He gave the exterior a 9, performance a 6, which I thought was super weird because I thought the car was way better than apparently it actually is. But 8 out of 10 on the sound, 9 out of 10 on the interior. If I could disagree with him on one thing, the interior, goddamn, is like, it is so perfect for a Comp Car. It is so cool. cool to actually see in person. You don't really get to see the amount of paint and detail unless you see the car. Like, I've seen the inside of like the Mark V Super, for instance, and I've seen the inside of the S15, and I really love the inside of the S15 a little bit more. And then number 3, there was one car I didn't know. He has that JZX Chaser, and you guys are gonna have to, I apologize that I don't watch every second of every minute of every hour of the videos. I'm a casual watcher, okay? So I didn't know that he actually had this specific Chaser. It's the one that's got 750 horsepower, zebra interior. He gave it a 7 because of the interior, because he had to actually spray paint the carpet, but the overall rating was still really kick-ass. 9 out of 10 exterior, 7 out of 10 performance, 7 out of 10 interior, and an 8 out of 10 sound. The JZX 100 or the JZX 90, in my opinion, are probably the best drift Japanese car you can get right now for like your entirety of being in the drift motorsport. The Chaser does a really good job. It comes in a manual trans, it comes with the 1J, it can come with the VVTi if you get the JZX 100, which means you pretty much get everything you would need to actually drift a car right from factory with enough horsepower and torque to do everything you would need to until you want to do more power, which the 1J does an incredibly good job at handling more power. This car can pretty much scale and grow with you forever. Anyway, there's some cars I disagreed with, and that is the Nissan 350Z. He ranked Old Faithful 350Z on the sound a 3 out of 10 because it sounds like crap. You know, I will say, Mr. LZ, that's not fair. You said you were ranking the cars as a relation to themselves. If all 350Zs sound like shit, does that mean your 350Z sounds that much more like poopy? I don't think so. Honestly, 350Zs are sitting in a really unique spot because yeah, they don't necessarily sound the best, but what they do is they allow you to do anything with a car. They are the Honda Civic to the drifting crowd. They are the car that you can just beat to high hell and not really have to worry about them blowing up. They are the Miata with more power. In my personal opinion, cars like that deserve a little bit more love. The clap cars in our lives are quite honestly the ones we should love the most because they're the ones that put up with all of our stupid ideas. It's easy to love perfect car when you don't mess with it. It's hard to love an imperfect car, kind of like us, you know? But we love each other because of our differences and our grace. Put that in a text, send it to the person you love so that they know you have emotions. Men. All right, next up, the other car I didn't agree with, Laguna Seca Blue M3. He rated the exterior 7 out of 10, and I just have to say, that is wrong. If it's Laguna Seca Blue, then it's perfect for you. Laguna Seca Blues are the best color M3s you can possibly get. There is no rhyme or reason for it, it just is. Every single M3 E46 is silver. This one is blue, automatically gets a 10 in my book. He rated the performance a 7 out of 10, which I thought was pretty nuts because he had all the big 3 done on the car, which means it actually is a very pure driving car. But the interior is an 8 and the exhaust is an 8. I would agree. I sometimes think even the exhaust was probably rated a little bit too low. If you guys don't know, E46 M3s, they kind of sound like Honda Civics with just like a rusted leak before the muffler. They do not sound inherently that great. And I'm sorry to say it, but it's just because the engine and the length of the car, it kind of has the old 350Z problem. It's just, you put the engine and you put the length of the car and you put the exhaust together and you just get this mess. And the E46 kind of sounds like just a rusty Honda Civic, especially when it's banging up into the RPMs. And for some reason or another, his does not sound like that. So I would have given it a better ranking because most E46 M3s that I hear sound like big doo-doo, and that's why they always look good on an Xbox original DVD, also known as Most Wanted. But hey, you guys are gonna have to let me know what you think of the cars that he rated, because if you wanna watch the entire hour-long video, you can head over to his channel and do that now. If you wanna go drive on the LZ compound, you can do that over on Torque Drift 2. Download it on Epic Game Store for free, and you can go check out all the cars and the parts that we're uploading to the game every single day. And if you're looking for some feedback or you wanna give some feedback, drop a comment below because they are reading every single thing. Our engineers, our artists, everyone over in Australia that is trying to make this thing super special, they're reading everything that you have to say. So the comments are super appreciated. We love you. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Alex Martini with 2 underscores on Instagram. I was over here in Torque Motorsport, and we hope you have a very fantastic day.